Hey, what is up guys, it is Mike here, and today I'm going to be showing you my top 10 death minigame facts in Five Nights at Freddy's. This idea was suggested by YouTube user Jalen Licata. So up at number 10 is that many people believe that the child who was killed during the Give Cake minigame is the same child as the one you see in the posters in the first game. Specifically the posters that appear sometimes in the hallway. The reason why is because the tear tracks look very similar, and also the child on the posters looks generally afraid, like he's about to die. So yeah, with all these resemblances, I think it's pretty safe to assume that it is in fact the same child. And now for number 9 is, you know the 4 dead children in the Give Gifts, Give Life minigame? Well, there actually is a secret 5th child present for 1 frame right before the Golden Freddy jump scare. It's very subtle and you really need to have video editing software to see it. And yeah, it's not really clear to who that body belongs, but there is one likely suspect. Which leads me to fact number 8, which is that the 5th kid probably belongs to Golden Freddy. Why? Well, because that 5th body appears right before Golden Freddy's jump scare. But it is unclear whether the marionette actually stuffed his body into Golden Freddy, or if he just went on to possess Golden Freddy's empty suit. I don't know, but in my opinion, the suit is still empty because, first of all, you don't actually see the marionette stuffing the child into the suit, and second of all, the suit just generally seems empty and slumped over and doesn't have any trace of blood on it. And now for number 7 is that it is commonly believed that the Give Cake minigame happens in Fredbear's family diner. The reason why is because the minigame area is very small and seems to be no bigger than just 1 room. And so this could be indication that, the restaurant back then had a much smaller budget, which means that it was probably an older location than the one in Five Nights 2. And also it is entirely possible, but not confirmed, that you might have been playing as Fredbear in that minigame. And now for number 6 is that unlike the other minigames, the Give Gifts, Give Life minigame actually has a score. For each gift given, you are awarded 100 points, and at the very end, during the Golden Freddy jump scare, for some reason that number will change to a random one. But it's not true randomness either, but rather it just picks a random 1 out of 5 numbers. So I don't know, maybe the numbers could have some kind of a secret code in them that we could decipher, I'm not sure. And now for fact number 5 is that Balloon Boy is not present in any one of the minigames, which is actually quite strange because all the other toy animatronics are all present at one point or another. So yeah, and I had a theory that maybe this could be evidence that Balloon Boy is actually just a hallucination and isn't real, but that was debunked when in Scott's latest teasers, Balloon Boy was part of the random toy animatronics that were put in the gift box. So yeah, I guess that's debunked, and so now I assume that the reason why BB wasn't put in the minigames is because Scott implemented him very late in development and didn't have time to put him in. And now for fact number 4 was suggested to me by Twitter user Courteous Soul, and it is that the death minigames are actually a reference to the arcades present in restaurants such as Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz Pizza. That's why they exist and they're 8-bit, it's because it's as if you were playing on a arcade in that restaurant. So yeah, to anyone who never went to a Chuck E. Cheese or Showbiz Pizza, that's why they're there. And now fact number 3 was brought to my attention by Twitter user Synapta_SFCP, and he or she said that in the Save Them minigame, if you pay attention, the gift box actually has a pool of blood under it. Which is strange because you would assume it's due to, maybe a child's body being stuffed there, but all the 5 children's bodies have been scattered elsewhere throughout the restaurant. So why is there blood in the gift box? Has someone else been stuffed into it? Like, I don't know, the killer or something? You guys tell me what you think in the comment section below. And now for number 2 is that the death minigames have a very similar graphic style to another video game made by Scott Cawthon called Fighter Mage Bard. It is a mobile game and you can find it on the App Store. And yeah, Scott probably took the actual game's source code and used it for the Five Nights at Freddy's death minigames because it's almost the exact same thing, with the only exceptions being the environments and the sprites he used. But everything else is extremely similar. The walking animations are very similar and the actual graphics are pretty much the same. And now finally for fact number 1 is that the arcades are back in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. During the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 trailer, you can see in the hallway none other than an arcade machine flickering. Now, this doesn't confirm that the death minigames themselves will be back in the 3rd game, but it is a possibility. So let us cross our fingers and hope that Scott will reveal in the 3rd game more information about the past. Also, by the way, I want to do a quick shout out to fellow YouTuber Doghost Games, who goes more in depth on the arcade machine found in the third game, and you will find a link to his video in the description, so go check it out and tell him that I sent you. Hey, what is up guys, it is Mike here, and today I'm going to show you my top 10 Easter eggs in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Let's go. Up at number 10 is of course that Freddy's honking nose is back. As you all know, Five Nights 1 and Five Nights 2 had this Easter egg where if you pressed on Freddy's nose on the poster, it would make a comedic honking noise, and Five Nights 3 is no exception. And also the sound file played is literally the exact same as in both first games. This works on both the PC and the mobile version of the game, and you know, it provides you with a pretty cool comedic relief to help you deal with the tension. And now for Easter egg number 9 is that if you look at camera 10, the one with the exit door, you'll see a poster of Freddy with some pizza. However, sometimes that poster might be replaced by a poster of Springtrap. And this is actually a pretty interesting Easter egg, because if this poster represents the original Springtrap, you know, before he became withered, then this might confirm that Springtrap's original color was indeed golden, rather than blue or purple, as some people theorized. And then for Easter egg number 8 is that, you know that Shadow Bonnie figure on your table, the one that appears on night 5 and that clicking on it causes you to go to Shadow Bonnie's minigame? Well, if you examine it closely, you will notice that it looks eerily similar to Toy Bonnie. Now, this is actually quite strange because, judging by the minigames, Shadow Bonnie was present dating back to the very beginning, aka the creation of Fredbear's Family Diner, where back then the only two manufactured animatronics were Golden Freddy and Springtrap. And if anything, during the minigames, Shadow Bonnie seems to represent Springtrap more than anything else. And this is why I label this figurine as an Easter egg, because it's just, you know, a pretty cool figurine and doesn't actually seem to represent the real Springtrap, unless Springtrap actually changes his appearance over time. And now for Easter egg number 7 is that if you played the Mangle's Quest minigame and you happen to, you know, glitch out of the map to get the cake ending, you will come across this very strange tall silhouette of the puppet crying. Now this is very strange indeed, and no one really knows what it represents. One possibility is that it is agonizing over the fact that its spirit is stuck to roam the halls of the restaurant and that it cannot escape. But I don't know, I guess only Scott really knows. But you guys tell me in the comment section below, what do you think this means? And now for Easter egg number 6 is that during Markiplier's Let's Play of Five Nights at Freddy's 3, Golden Freddy's face appears momentarily during the static. Something similar to this also happened during Rooster Teeth's Let's Play of Five Nights 3, where a hallucination of Golden Freddy appeared in the background momentarily. However, otherwise there have been no reports of these occurrences of Golden Freddy appearing with anyone else, which leads one to believe that these occurrences may have been faked, unless there's some kind of a conspiracy going on with these YouTubers collaborating with Scott Cawthon or something. And F number 5 is that during the minigames after each night, if you go to the room at the very left of the map, you will come across some tables with various spare animatronic parts on them, but if you pay attention, one of these tables has what appears to be a skull on it. A human skull, it seems. And if you remember, in Five Nights 1, Phone Guy got killed and stuffed into an animatronic. So could this be Phone Guy's head? I think it might. And F number 4 is one that was found by my friend Dogco, and I'm gonna leave a link to his channel down below. You should go check him out. He makes really awesome Five Nights at Freddy's videos, and he found that, first of all, in the new update, Springtrap now has a voice. But what's interesting is that he also found that if you slow down Springtrap's voice file, you'll hear that he seems to say, "Help me." Pretty interesting. And F number 3 is, you know the children sitting on the tables during the Happiest Day minigame? Well, notice that these children are wearing masks, and judging by the fact that the dead children in the next room are wearing animatronic masks, I think it is safe to assume that the masks worn by these children also represent animatronics. But if that is true, then we have never seen the animatronics associated with these masks. So that means that maybe, just maybe, these masks represent animatronics that were present in a sister location. And you know what else? I think that if Scott Cawthon decides to make another Five Nights at Freddy's game, these masks might represent a foreshadowing hinting at potential new animatronic characters in the future. What do you guys think? And now for Easter egg number 2, I'm actually kind of ashamed to admit this, but I only found out about this one very recently. And that is that there is actually a second variation of the paper plate dude that can appear in your office. We all know of the paper plate dude that looks kind of like Bonnie / Springtrap, but there is actually a second variation that can appear on the right of your office, and this one represents Freddy Fazbear. So yeah, pretty cool Easter egg, and these paper plate dudes are really going crazy in this game, aren't they? And they seem to me quite suspicious. Maybe they're the ones who caused the fire. And now finally for Easter egg number 1 is that if you go on scottgames.com and you inspect the source code, you will come across this color code, number EE82EE. This, by the way, was first discovered by Reddit user NomNomNomNation. And if you type in that code into Google, you will see that it signifies a light violet / pink color, very similar to one of the sprites of the purple guys from Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in the minigames. So if it is in fact true that there are 2 killers rather than 1 killer, then maybe the second killer is still free, and maybe this could be a hint to a future Five Nights at Freddy's game, who knows.